Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So even before the pandemic hit, the IRS was in trouble. Corporate lobbyists and anti-tax extremists have slashed the IRS budget by 20% over the last decade, leaving the agency with 22% fewer staff and decades-old IT systems, forcing it to outsource key capabilities to profiteering private companies. Now, this means that the IRS can't chase down wealthy tax cheats or adequately assist the majority of Americans trying to honestly fill out their taxes and claim refunds. As of this filing system with ongoing pandemic-related challenges, let's face it, it is worse than ever. This has to end. We need to invest in the IRS. And today I'd like to highlight a key investment that we can make, simplified filing, and how it would help address precisely the kinds of rampant delays that taxpayers are facing this year. Right now, the IRS is advising taxpayers to file electronically and accurately in order to avoid delays. So, Ms. Collins, as National Taxpayer Advocate, you know that taxpayers have a lot to keep track of when they're filing their taxes, from W-2 income to advanced child tax credit payments to the pandemic stimulus checks. What happens if a family makes an error on their return and doesn't get the number exactly right?
Yeah, that is a challenge that the IRS dealt with last year that has caused part of the backlog is the numbers that a lot of individuals, over 11 million, put on their stimulus did not match the IRS's.
Right. So what happens when there's a mismatch?
So they pull it out of the processing and they send the IRS our notices again. They send the taxpayer notice. The taxpayer gets to respond. And it does slow the process down. So it is a real challenge. And some of those are still sitting out there 10 months later.
Yeah. 10 months later that people could still be sitting out there. So here's the thing that gets me about this, though. The IRS actually has all this data from the employers who tell the IRS how much the employees made each year, or from the IRS's own data on how much it sent to families in those CTC payments or stimulus checks. But even though it already has the information, the IRS quizzes the tax filer to make sure that the tax filer can accurately enter that information. And if the numbers don't match exactly, then it's lose-lose. The taxpayer faces huge delays, as you point out. The IRS wastes resources taking a second look at the return and falls further behind in helping everyone else. So, Ms. Collins, if the IRS already has this information on taxpayer income, why doesn't it just give it to the taxpayers? Wouldn't it make the returns more accurate and processing much faster?
Yeah, this past year, what the IRS is doing is sending out 2 letters, one on the advanced
Yeah, I get the letters.
Right.
Why don't they just push out the information?
I am a big proponent of an online account, and I very much would like the IRS to have that data available and the taxpayers could access it, possibly set it up to download it to go directly into a taxpayer's return or to provide to their CPA or their accountant.
Okay, so now we're speaking each other's language on this. This is precisely why I have proposed in my Tax Filing Simplification Act that the IRS invest in its IT systems so that taxpayers could download their IRS data directly into tax prep software. Right now, Americans waste an average of 11 hours and $200 preparing their tax returns. And they still risk getting it wrong and waiting months and months for their returns. With simplified filing, they could plug in IRS data, take a look, maybe make a tweak if they think there's something that's not right there, and then send it in minutes instead of hours. So, Ms. Collins, do you think that the IRS should commit to creating this kind of simplified filing tool, allowing taxpayers to download their data from the IRS right into tax filing software?
It's definitely something I'd recommend they look into because they do have the W-2 information, 1099 information, any of the credits that the IRS has paid out, and it would simplify it for taxpayers. And I'm a big proponent of simplifying everything on taxes.
Me too. And I agree with you on this, but we have to remember there's somebody who doesn't agree. There are giant corporations like Intuit that hate this idea because they rake in billions of dollars each year by tricking taxpayers into buying unnecessary tax preparation products. There are also right-wing extremists who want an IRS that can't serve folks at the bottom and can't reach tax cheats at the top. So my view on this, it's time to put hardworking Americans at the center of our tax policy. Simplify, make it easier, let them be able to pay their taxes and move on with their lives. We can't put Americans through another bad tax filing season. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank my colleague. And Ms. Collins, you certainly struck a chord when you said, I'm for simplified everything. And I think that certainly resonates. I very much favor this idea of giving people the option of being able to